What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Bianconeri zone, and welcome back to Domenico Berardi back on the table for Juve. It's the end of the year, and I was not expecting to talk about Domenico Berardi being back at the club or being potentially back on the table, but here we are, a couple of days before the new year, before 25, and it's back. You know, even when he plays in Serie B right now, he's been mentioned for a potential return, not by the media but by the CEO of Sassuolo himself. So we're going to talk about that and why I would do that deal. And yes, you heard that correctly. I would potentially do that deal considering the recent links that are not Berardi at this moment in time. But before we do that, as always, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, bell notification on, and let's talk about Domenico Berardi back at Juve. Okay, so Domenico Berardi, a player that went beyond the Milinkovic-Savic to Juve stories, the Pogba back to Juve type of news reports. This is crazy. This goes back to, I don't know, 2016 maybe, when we owned him, basically, part of it, and then we sold him to Sassuolo because he didn't want to join us, because he couldn't, he didn't want to compete for his place. He didn't want to do that, and I was like, fine, you're young at the time. Then he had another opportunity a couple of seasons after that to come to join us, or Inter for that purpose as well. And he's basically said the same thing. I want Sassuolo. I'm a starter, and I don't want to lose my place. I don't want to compete. And at that moment, I'm like, yeah, you're never gonna be good enough for the top because you don't have the right mindset. If you want things easy, if you do not want to compete, if you're scared to lose your position, if you do not want to challenge yourself every single day, then you're not a top player, nor will you ever be a top player, which he's not, by the way. That's that. Now, I was not imagining, coming on at the end of the year, almost end of the year, Christmas Eve, So, to talk about Domenico Berardi coming back. However, Carnavali, Sassuolo's CEO, who had the entire story, remember with Giuntoli last 2 summers ago, basically saying that, yeah, we were in talks, and Berardi came out saying I wanted to move, and they promised to move, but he said Giuntoli was too late, we waited too long, so on, and the deal went off. Basically, he was very close that summer to join us, and he was mad, Carnavali, and how he said that Atalanta and Juve have shown interest in Domenico Berardi again, basically, but there are no advanced talks for him yet. Now, I'm talking about this because we've been linked with players like Raspadori, who I have no idea who they are, profile-wise. I have no idea how they will fit in a team that is struggling, because I don't know what their defining positions. I don't know what they're really at, that a player like Raspadori, I don't know what a player like that really adds to a team that's still searching, and struggling. And that's why I said in my intro that if you give me the option, and listen to this carefully, to buy Raspadori, because not alone it's buying Raspadori, or get Berardi on loan, because recent links are a loan deal for Berardi, not a sale, a definite sale, which to me makes no sense, because Sassuolo are in a title race, to get back to Serie A. Why would they loan out their best player? However, that has been the reporting, that if he moves in January, it's a loan. And I don't know why that has been the reporting. Has something happened? Was something promised to Berardi? I have no idea. Do they want to make good for what happened last summer? I have no clue why the talk is a loan deal. It doesn't make sense. But I need to go off that hypothetical scenario. I will take Berardi on loan just to not waste money on Raspadori. I think even if it's a full-on sale, I don't want Berardi at the club. That ship has sailed years ago. But if you give me the option, I would say none. But if you force me to pick Raspadori, how old is he? 24, 25? Or Berardi at 29? I will pick Berardi, because I know the output will be there. I know what I will get. Even though what I will get, I think, is not good enough, I don't know what we're going to get with Raspadori. I have no clue. Now, again, I don't want Berardi at the club. We shouldn't be looking at these type of players. I have no clue why we're looking at these type of players. It only makes sense, not even them, but a quick fix, until the summer, because you are looking to not waste your money and you want to bridge gap, a couple of months basically. That's not the case with Raspadori, because the links with Raspadori is you're gonna buy him, and I don't want to buy Raspadori. Now, own Raspadori, it's linked to Danilo, because Danilo is still on the market, despite what he has to say or what he said, a couple of weeks ago. He's still out there because Conte wants Danilo, and he's basically pushing De Laurentiis and Mana to bring in Danilo in January. However, they want to include a player, but it's a loan. It's a 1 year thing for Danilo. He's out of contract. Basically, the option is not going to kick in. And Raspadori has some sort of value for Napoli, so we're going to need to pay money. And I'm feeling like I don't want to get into a situation, nor should Giuntoli get into a situation where he's forced to take on a player because Danilo wants to move out, because Danilo wants to play more the last couple of months. I don't care, nor should Giuntoli care. You should not waste any funds, time, in players you actually do not want. And the scary part is, maybe he does want Raspadori at the club, and I have no idea why. Right now, I'm looking at the squad, and I'm like, we need, obviously, certain profiles, but we also need some sort of experience, I need to start looking. Giuntoli is probably going to need to start looking at free agents for now and also in the summer. And with free agents, I do not mean players that have been ex-players for a couple of seasons, like a Skriniar. I'm talking about potential high-profile players that have still 1, 2, 3, let's say 2 very good seasons or good seasons in the tank at the Serie A, because this team is missing experience. We have a lot of young players who have not won anything, players that are trying to find their footing still. We need experience right now, and I'm not sure you're going to get that in January. I'm just talking about the long-term part. It's good to add quality with youngsters, but I've always said we need free agents. However, these free agents also need to be from a certain quality, a certain standard. It cannot be Skriniar, If you bring up that type of free agent, I'm like, yeah, that's not going to help at all. They also need to have some sort of quality. Like, it's all good to be linked with Silva, potentially. I don't know. I've not watched enough of him to not say basically anything. So I cannot say, oh, he's very good, he's very bad, whatever. But he's very young. He's very inexperienced. And we need some experience in that squad. We desperately are looking for real leaders on that pitch, in that locker room. We'll also add something on that pitch and in that locker room. So it's a tricky situation for Giuntoli. The main thing for me is, like, do not waste money. Do not put us in a position where we are stuck with players we just cannot use or are not good enough, period. And that includes, for me, Domenico Berardi, Raspadori, and so on. All the players we've been linked probably recently, But let me know. Maybe you guys are like, now it's time to bring in Berardi on a 2-year deal. Then convince me. Try to convince me why we should be bringing in Domenico Berardi on a potential 2-year deal. And if you cannot convince me, enjoy your Christmas Eve and tomorrow your Christmas Day as well. And we will talk soon, hopefully not about Berardi. Ciao.